Greetings, everyone. Hope all of you are having a great day. Yes, it's been a while since I made a video. I've been pretty exhausted myself due to work and all that stuff. But so I just want to catch up with last week, and it seems that the Epstein files are still a thing. I mean, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that because, to be honest, a lot of these big stories they just blow over after 72 hours. So I'm surprised that we're actually making progress, that this thing's lasts for more than a week. Hopefully it'll last for at least 1 year. But I don't know, man, because, it seems like they find new distractions here and there, just try to keep people unaware of what's going on. But not here. We need to keep people alert. We need to let people know what's going on. And frankly, I find this very disturbing, but also at the same time, I'm actually glad that this Epstein files it's tearing up the MAGA base because the MAGA base have been so far up there, what, thinking that oh yeah, like it was only Democrats hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, for crying out loud, Trump is just as complicit, and you don't know there are other powerful politicians um, and business leaders who support the MAGA movement, they're probably just as complicit as well. I mean, this guy was well connected with both the Democrats and Republicans. So I'm not letting Democrats off the hook, especially the establishment ones, because it's also very surprising to see that, why is it only like, what, 5 Democrats that are raising awareness, whereas people like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they're not doing anything because their donors probably knew Epstein and they don't want to get the names out. So, so basically, even the establishment Democrats, yeah, I wish they all get primaried out. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on the MAGA base because they were all up in arms about Epstein files, accusing Democrats of doing perverted acts, whereas, you know, it's like, hey, have you seen your idol Donald Trump? I mean, he's not so innocent either. He's not innocent at all. I mean, the guy's a felon, and yeah, I can go all day talking about how terrible Trump is, but let's just go through this article because this is very interesting. It says Epstein ghost is haunting Trump, and America's enemies could summon more. Yeah, because it's not just because world leaders are also looking at this, and by God, I mean, if you want to see a falling empire, you're having front row seats right here. Okay, so it says that how could John? I'm just going to go through bits and pieces of this article. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says, how could President Trump put his credibility on the line with his hardcore MAGA supporters over Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, it says Epstein attorney Alan Dershowitz wrote in the Wall Street Journal on July 16th, Trump was free and clear of any and all entanglements with his client. Yeah, right. And it says extreme elements of the MAGA constituency have turned against Trump. Yeah, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and plus it doesn't help when you have the letter that came out talking about calling like Jeffrey Epstein a great friend and all. So that doesn't help. So, and then it doesn't help when he's like, you're having like seeing Trump having a press conference saying like, why are we still talking about this? And yeah, okay, so let's go. Now they're saying that Trump has now become part of the deep state that you have to eliminate is nonsensical. Yeah, that is so true. I mean, you just gotta love the hits. It just shows how, man, you know what? When I just read stuff like this, I'm like, wow, man. Is this, can America really be, turn course, go on the right track again? Because this does not give me much hope at all when you have people like too many people believing conspiracies and we're not focusing on economic issues and healthcare. In fact, we're finding ways to dismantle all that, dismantle the ladder from those less fortunate. So yeah, I mean, so now we're just talking about this. Okay, so let's go. Let's go continue more of this article. And says that like the timing is not helpful to Trump in the midst of what could be a major global tariff war. Starts in next week in August. Starts in 2 weeks in August. The conflict in Gaza is still blazing. Vladimir Putin given 50 days to put up or shut up a ceasefire and peace negotiation with Ukraine. How do these outside players react? Yeah, how do they? Um, it says, do all or many shake their heads, believing that this is simply the vulgarity of U.S. politics? Or do the others, probably Beijing and Moscow, see a failed weakness in American culture and society to be exploited? It's the latter. Trust me, it's the latter. See, this is what happens when you have dumb leaders calling the shots. I mean, it doesn't help that first 6 months, Trump found a way to piss off the entire world with this tariff crap. And don't get me started with Canada. You don't go insult their sovereignty by calling them the 51st state and calling their prime minister a governor. And now Canada is making deals with other countries, with other trading partners as well. They're trying to find ways to bypass the U.S. And also, it doesn't help that more countries are joining BRICS, and that's going to devalue the dollar even further. So if you thought your standard of living was bad now, once the dollar gets is no longer the reserve currency, not only will it mark the end of the U.S. empire, but things are just going to suck a lot more. So you better be ready for that. So they said this, Chinese and I'm just going through bits and pieces of articles. Says Chinese and Russian as well as other intelligence services are exploring how these flaws and cracks in American politics can be exploited. Yeah, no kidding. Of course, they're going to find everything without firing a shot, and they might succeed because look at our incompetent administration. And I'm actually glad that the MAGA movement's splitting apart because you cared so much about owning the libs at the expense of economic development, education, healthcare for your fellow Americans. And you know what? Also, I think this Epstein files is going to demoralize turnout later this year in elections in Virginia, possibly New Jersey. That's going to be closer. But also in other local elections all around the nation. And I'm not sure if this story will carry over in 2026 because, I mean, look, it's been a wild, to say it's a wild ride is an understatement. I mean, it's been chaotic and very uncertain what's going to happen, of what's happening. But it's kind of sick to think that, we have like our country, especially like the leaders in the White House and in our government, like they're run by a bunch of sick PDFers. It's pretty disgusting to think about it. So I do hope this story continues and it splits the MAGA base apart because the MAGA base, you have a lot to answer for. And karma came quick with this. So let's wait and see what happens. Anyway, I want to hear your thoughts about it. What do you think about the Epstein files? Do you think it'll go away? Do you think it'll continue to split the MAGA base? Anyway, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.